Welcome back to the Flamingo Advantage podcast. I'm so excited about our guest today, someone who is a flamingo in the business world. We're really, really excited to have with us the founder and owner of Build Change Impact. And she works with business owners who've already built successful businesses, but find themselves sort of stuck in the mud. She's got a special knack for problem solving and helps her clients recapture the vision that God has given them and the freedom that comes along with owning a business that is an asset and that serves both them and their people. So Stacey Ansley, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Katie, thanks so much for having me.
You and I met, we were just talking before the interview. We met at an event actually in Canada a couple of years ago,
We sure did.
and have sort of lost touch, and God's brought us back together. I'm so excited now to be able to introduce you to our folks and really highlight what God is doing in your business. So you're in Florida now. Tell us a little bit about, what got you to where you are today and who you're serving in your business.
Absolutely. So I spent about 15 years in Christian ministry with Wycliffe Bible translators and the Ministry of Young Life. And then I started a family and was realizing that Young Life camping, which is the area that I was in, was specifically very summer heavy. And I needed to spend or desired to spend some more time with my family. And so I made a transition into our own business, which we started. And from there, just started business coaching a few years later, started helping people who were saying, wait a minute, how are you doing what you're doing in your business? How are you growing so quickly? All of these sort of things. And just started creating my own IP around those things and started coaching and had a lot of success with helping my clients build some very successful businesses. And so that's kind of how we got to where we are today.
Tell me what that was like. I know we came out of ministry as well into full-time business, which is a mission field of its own, right?
Mhm.
But tell us about that, what that was like to shift from ministry work into business work. Did you struggle at all with that?
Mindset wise, I did, because I felt like I was making such an impact. And then I realized that other people could make that impact and I could financially support them and I could be making an impact as well in what I was doing. And that what I was doing wasn't any less worthy than what I was doing before. And I think that part of my struggle with that initially was I didn't even meet Christ until I was 17. I actually never even heard the gospel until I was 16. And I grew up in California. And to think that, like, I never heard the gospel. I mean, for my family, Christmas was about Santa Claus and Easter was about the Easter Bunny, and we never attended church. And we didn't know people who really attended church. Or maybe, in school, someone can't do something because they're going to church, but there was never any more discussion around that. And so, having then, accepted Christ, and I went to a private Christian college in California, and then going into Christian service to kind of feel like I was stepping away from that, but realizing, no, I'm not. I'm stepping into who God fully intends me to be.
Oh, I love that journey. It's so powerful to see, and I think our culture really does us a disservice by segregating the ministry and the work world, right? I believe that "Go ye into all the world" didn't say pastors go into all the world or
Mhm.
missionaries go into. It said "Go ye," and "ye" means you and me and ye, like all of us, right? And
Absolutely.
there's no better
And
way to go into all the world than through your business.
yeah, and I still can have the impact the way I want to in other areas too. So, like, leading sixth grade girls at camp, I'm there. Like,
Right.
we're doing it, and I have the freedom of time that my business allows me to say, okay, yeah, I can leave at noon on a Thursday and take Friday off and Saturday and be back on Sunday with everybody, but and not have to do too much other than rearrange, a few client schedules or that sort of thing. But it's not like I have to, do I have enough time off or anything like that? It just, God has really shown me the freedom that owning a business has.
Yeah. I have a coach who often says the more money you make, the more good you can do.
Mm,
Right. And
yeah.
I think that when you see money as a tool in the hands of God versus a value statement, you're really able to leverage that in a different way. And I love that God has given so many of us believers in business that perspective that allows us to really leverage those tools and resources to do business as worship, to do business as ministry. And I know for us, we've had incredible opportunities for ministry through the business that we never would have had otherwise. And I consider that a Flamingo advantage, really. Like that's part of what
Absolutely.
makes us different and unique. And speaking of that, tell us what makes you unique in business. What is the thing that sets you apart as a consultant compared to the others out there?
Yeah, so I really focus in on some specific areas of business, really thick. Um, and I also really start with the business owner themselves. So I have a statement that I'm always saying, and it's the transformation of your business will never exceed the transformation of its owner. And you're its owner. So you better remember that. And so if you are not growing as a business owner, how can you expect your business to grow? And so um, we kind of start with the owners and, like that, making sure you have a good mindset, making sure that you can handle drama because and interruptions and those can happen at the same time or be different things, but if you yourself are, in a solid place, uh, then you're able to think and make decisions from a place of vision rather than a place of fear. And you're not reacting, you're planning for the future. And
Mm,
just that mindset aspect of, when clients come to me, we do some work there of saying, like, where are you in your business? Are you like, I got to put out this fire, I got to do this, I got to, let's step back. Let's see what resources you have. And that's time resources, financial resources, team resources. Let's evaluate all of that and see how we can make things calm so that we can make some proper decisions. And there is a saying that my health coach always says, and I have just really clung on to it. It's stop, challenge, choose. And so, how can we stop in that moment, really challenge ourselves? Okay, what are the different options and opportunities here? And then, what is our choice and how am I going to move forward?
yeah, I love that. Bringing it back to the truth of like what's really going on here, right? Not what I'm
Yeah,
imagining, not what I'm fearing, but what's actually going on. And then based on those facts, right, we can make a wise decision based on what we know. And that is really true. I think of the saying that the GPS doesn't ask you where you've been, it asks where you are and where you're going. Right. And
yeah,
I like to talk with our clients that, they come in a lot of times and I think for a lot of believers in business, we feel this way, right? Like we're still dealing with a lot of stuff in the past, things people have said, things we have told ourselves, maybe mistakes or failures in the past. And we're still like reliving that in our heads. I'm like, okay, but today's a new day. God makes
yeah.
all things new. He's already in tomorrow ahead of you. He knows what's coming. Let's leave that to him. Let's leave the past behind. Today, what is the truth of what God is doing and what's the next step you need to take? And I love that.
Absolutely.
Um,
And when you can get clarity on that, like then you're able to move your marketing forward and your sales forward and all the other things. But if you can't get to the core issue within yourself as the business owner or leader, everything else is going to be out of whack.
yeah, I love it. Do you work with a specific industry of folks or what makes someone your right fit client? How do they know Stacey is the one for me?
So clients that I work with usually typically come to me saying, I know what got me to where I am, but I feel like I'm just circling the same mountain in business. Like I can't get any higher. And and the problem is that what got them to where they are isn't going to get them to where they need to be, because mountains are only so high. The next mountain peak is higher, but they kind of need that guide to traverse the saddle to help get them to that new height. And that's where I come in is I can say, okay, hey, yes, you got to here. Let's stop circling this path around the top of the mountain over and over again. And if we just come down this little bit right here and traverse back up, now there's this huge mountain open to you and all these possibilities. And so I tend to work with a lot of retail and service-based business owners. So examples are I've worked with karate studios, PPT sellers, just different industries where they feel like they have gotten to a certain point, have been successful, and they can see that next peak, but they just don't know how to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Love it. And this is the outside perspective, right? In the multitude of counselors, there is safety, scripture says,
Mhm.
and finding someone to speak into your business. And um, in terms of speaking into your business, you've made it really easy for folks to get help from you without ever having to have that first call, even because you have an assessment available that I just love. It's something you shared at our summit a couple of months back. Tell us a little bit about how folks can get that business assessment from you.
Absolutely. So I'm going to make the link available to you. It's
We'll put it in the show notes.
buildchangeimpact.com/flamingo. And they will go there, and there is going to be a 12-minute assessment. So you're going to go through, answer some questions, and then immediately go over to your email, and you will have a report generated for you. And this is going to essentially take those answers of your different areas that you put into the report, and kind of say, okay, based on this, this is where, there can be improvement. But not only there can be improvement, here's some things you can do to help improve that. And so if you feel like, I know I need to do all of the things, well, all of the things don't actually move the needle forward. It's being strategic and determining where you need to go. And so it will give you a report that says, hey, go ahead and look at this, examine this, because if you don't take care of this one aspect of your marketing, well, then you're not going to have the sales you want. Or if you don't address cash flow right now, you're not going to be able to make it in this other area. And so it's a pretty detailed report. I want to say it's about 30 pages. So, take a look, just digest the information in it. But yes, it is a free resource I'm making available to your folks.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. You guys will have that link in the show notes for you. You definitely want to connect with Stacey and get that, especially, in the times that we're living in, right? All of us wish we had a little bit more outside perspective. And this is an easy way for you to get it. Doesn't cost a thing. Head over there and check that out. And I just really, really appreciate you sharing with us today from your wisdom and your experience. And I look forward to having you on the show again, perhaps in the future.
Thanks so much, Katie.
All right, you guys, remember your message matters. God has put you in this time for a reason. You were put in this particular century, in this particular economy, in this particular sphere of influence, because somebody needs your message. Go be a flamingo today.